The local exchange will be contending with a weaker Tencent this morning with the prospect of Chinese intervention, again spooking markets, pardon me. Now, however, the local hospitality-focused stocks could benefit from South Africa's move to a level 2 lockdown. Roy Mutooni is an analyst at ABSA Asset Management. He joins us now for an update on what is shaking the markets in early trade. Roy, very good morning to you. So talk us through how the markets have opened, having ended slightly firmer in the last session.
Yeah, morning, Coley. So markets are flat, effectively, and it's exactly like for the reason that you say. Tencent is down. Tencent closed down in Asia, so Naspers and Process are both down. And the only things that seem to be up now are the banks and a couple of the industrial stock. But yeah, effectively, a very slow start to trade today. Stronger rand, but yeah, Tencent as usual. When Tencent doesn't perform, the market starts very slowly.
Yeah, let's talk commodities. Oil prices rising to a one-week high so far today, extending Friday's gains, I would say. What elements are driving those moves?
Remember, the big thing around oil prices is the impact of that Hurricane Ida that hit the U.S. Where it hit impacted a lot of U.S. production, and that's only coming back sluggishly. Remember, globally, we are seeing a slow rise in demand. So demand is rising, a little bit of supply has been taken offline, and the rest of the industry is unable to suddenly respond to spikes in demand. So that's why I think the price is going up. You probably will see this stabilizing as soon as they're able to quantify the damage and try and start bringing back up some of that production. And I think that's why you've seen it stabilizing at that level of about 70 or slightly above that. So, yes, it's all about the hurricane.
All right, let's talk company news. Famous Brands releasing its voluntary performance update for the 6 months ended 31 August. Talk us through their numbers.
So for a hospitality business, quick service restaurants like they have, this is actually quite a good update. What they're basically saying is when they look at all of their businesses globally in South Africa, in the Middle East, and overseas, they're seeing a substantial improvement for the first 6 months, to the end of August compared to last year. I mean, if you look at the base last year, that's when they had all of the lockdowns, all of the closures, the inability to sell absolutely anything. But I think what they're telling you now is as lockdowns have been eased and business is coming back to normal to a certain extent, they're seeing greater traffic coming across their restaurants.
Yeah.
Turnover is growing, and they see a substantial recovery. So I think that's good news, and it should reflect across most of the hospitality sector, especially quick service restaurants, food service, and related industries. So good numbers. They haven't given much detail. They said closer to the period end, they will be able to come out with absolute percentages. But I think from a top line perspective, very good, high double digit increases there.
Sure. Let's talk about this interesting attempted takeover. Investors objecting to a Dubai firm's 13 billion rand takeover offer for Imperial Logistics. Now, PSG Asset Management regarding this offer as too low and not reflecting what they say is the fair value and recovery potential the company offers. Explain these developments to us and whether the share price has reacted to these sentiments at all.
So when the takeover was first announced, the share price rose significantly, up about 35%, and it basically went to the level of the takeover offer. At the same time, there were two big shareholders, Ukamba, the PE partner, and another institutional shareholder, who together I think own close to about 15%, if I'm not mistaken, of the shares, came in and said that they support the offer. The institutional investor was not in a binding way, but Ukamba was. So I think this is just simply a matter of shareholders coming to their own estimate of where valuation is. Where all of this is going to come to a head is at the shareholders meeting September 17th, where it will be voted on and everyone will have a view. It seems to me that, first of all, this is the highest price that the shares traded at. on a multiple basis since it unbundled Motor. I think it is a fair reflection. But when I look at what ESG are saying, what they're saying is also reasonable. It's gone through significant restructure. There's a lot of runway of improvements that this company could put in, and the significant cash from disposal that's also coming. So let's see who they can convince. All shareholders are able to vote. They'll vote on the 17th, and the majority will win.
Yeah. Finally, Stats SA due to release the mining figures and, of course, production and sales for the months of June and July, and these figures expected tomorrow. What are you hoping to see from that data?
I think just a continuation of the trend. I don't think mining was particularly impacted. Mining production was particularly impacted by the July riots, but I would imagine some of the transportation routes may have been blocked, and it may have been very difficult to move stuff, particularly when Transnet was having the problems there. So you may see a bit of moderation in terms of actual exports and sales, because trucks weren't able to move into the port, and that communication level was broken. So I think expect to see some level of moderation, but in truth, commodity prices have largely held up over this period of time. So I don't think there'll be substantial surprises there. Not anything significantly negative, but some element of moderation from previous periods.
Roy Mutooni, thank you very much for that markets update. He is an analyst at ABSA Asset Management.